Hello everybody, welcome to the weekly bump. Thank you guys so much for being here. This week we have three piles 1, 2, and 3. We're using all agate today, a magenta, a teal, and a violet. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. I know this full moon in Aquarius squaring off with Uranus was creating a lot of strange emotion, a lot of strange tension. Plus we have Venus coming conjunct this north node. So, especially in the realm of romance and relationships, if any of you had any kind of big situations, the astrology is really supporting that, but it's also supporting healing from those things as well. So in terms of these piles, if you have a specific question, you're more than welcome to ask. Take a moment, pause the video if you have to really feel pulled or drawn toward one pile or the other. Now, I know a lot of people don't necessarily do it that way, and I always say there is an element of destiny. So if you just randomly select a pile, there's probably going to be some insights in there for you somewhere. If you have a specific question, of course, you're welcome to put it out into the universe because you just might get an answer as well. So timestamps will be in the description box down below, as well as the comment thread, so you can easily skip or jump to the pile of your choice. All right, see you guys in just a second. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, pile number 1, you guys selected the magenta agate. Let's go ahead and get started with these first 6 tarot cards. Okay, we have the 9 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands, Knight of Wands, 2 of Wands, the Star, and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, a lot of wand energy, which means there's definitely a lot of passion flying around. You're probably feeling a lot of passion within yourself. Now, this could be in a lot of different areas. It could be in a relationship. Okay, we do have a heart-centered color, right? This pink is always associated with the heart chakra. So it could be a connection or a relationship that you have, or it could just be, a creative aspect of your life that you're feeling, really gung-ho about, just really, truly ready to go, ready to make things happen. Now, the thing, though, is the 9 of Coins plus the Wheel of Fortune. Now, of course, these are beautiful cards when it comes to abundance, money, stability, feeling truly fulfilled and satisfied. Of course, these are great cards, but they're also very slow-moving cards. And to have these energies kind of bookending the 6 cards here with a lot of passion and fiery energy in between, I am sensing that there might be some limitations. You may want to go, a million miles a minute, but the world or your circumstances might really be slowing you down. But I think ultimately for the best, right? The Wheel of Fortune with the Star, please, this is in essence, wherever it is you are right now, is in essence, you are witnessing the making of your dreams coming true. Now, you might not feel that because maybe there's chaos, 5 of Wands. Maybe there's chaos. Maybe there's a fight, this full moon in Aquarius squaring Uranus. Like I said, it can be a bit chaotic. It can be a bit unpredictable. And, there could be people coming out and projecting a lot of stuff on you. I often see the 5 of Wands as being just a lot of projection, people not wanting to deal with stuff within themselves. And so they kind of emotionally vomit all over you. And you're like, oh my God, what even is this, And maybe some of you are guilty of that yourselves. And you've had to really, check yourself, check yourself at the door and be like, okay, what is the energy that I'm really bringing into this? What is the, what is the level of consciousness that I want to be operating from? I'm sure all of you want to be operating at your highest level of awareness. Sometimes we get caught in circumstances, though, where we have to come down in our vibration to deal with it, or some of you are wise enough and strong enough and, transformed enough that you can completely stay out of it and let people throw their little temper tantrums or whatever, and you're just completely unfazed. Hopefully that's the case, and hopefully you understand that the process that is unfolding in front of you is really opening up incredible doors for you. I mean, this really is all aspects of life. Your financial situation, in terms of your own spiritual stability and your emotional stability, in terms of your family, your marriages, your relationships, your careers, your children, all things are encompassed here. When the Wheel of Fortune turns, it turns for all of life. And I feel like you know that's what's happening. But if you get too caught up in this little mini drama, okay, 5 of Wands, whatever it is, you get too caught up in that, you can get swallowed by that. Now, the Knight of Rods is kind of an interesting character because he's quite buoyant. You know, he doesn't like to be pulled down. This is actually a card of Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. And then we have a Jupiterian Wheel of Fortune here as well. So I don't see the Knight of Rods as being, you know, the perpetuator of this 5 of Rods. In fact, I'm kind of seeing him as an actual, and I know this is kind of cheesy, but kind of a knight in shining armor, sort of coming in, breaking up the little conflict and then bouncing, you know, just like come in, take care of it, and boom, that's it. And I think for many of you, it'll probably just be, or if this has already happened, maybe this happened during the full moon energy, but it may still be yet to come as Venus gets closer and closer to that North Node. You know, you might need to be that knight in shining armor where you just come in, break it up, and exit as quickly as possible because you don't want to get too wrapped up. Because I see this Two of Rods, Two of Wands, is, you know, of course, this is a card of decisions, first and foremost, you know, making decisions that are in line with, you know, your ultimate goal. But it's also a manifestation card. It's the card that I always say is like visualization. Visualizing how you want your world to be. And when something is not aligned to that, how quickly can you react? And I am seeing, maybe react's not the right word. Maybe I use the word respond. How quickly can you respond? You know, because unfortunately with the 5 of Wands, we are, you know, affected by other people's decisions. But we don't have to let it suck us in. And I don't think that's what you're doing, because how could you possibly be doing that when we have the Star and the Wheel of Fortune at the end of this reading? It's not possible for you. Growth, expansion, abundance, fulfillment. These are the inevitabilities that will come out of this situation. So what I see is almost like a gazing. He's looking in this direction. He's looking in this direction. She's looking in this direction. Even the Star is even kind of looking in this direction. There's a lot of focus on this. But when I say focus, it's a lot of outside looking in. Almost as though you are staring at an old you. It's a future self looking at a past self that is literally in your present. Does that make any sense at all? It's a future self looking at a past self in your present, which means you're older, wiser, more aware, more capable of dealing with this. And therefore, it cannot bring you down. But you also have a, you know, a gauge, a measure, if you will, a measure of how far you've come. I think life has kind of an interesting way of doing that. It often, you know, shows us how far we've come as like a reminder of where we used to be, you know, as just to kind of like, okay, I at least have some gauge. You know, you can gauge your progress. And I think that's exactly what this is. You're on a really good track. Oh, victim. Okay. We also have vampire as well. How do we have a vampire and a victim card coming out? This deck, I just barely bought it. It's a deck I've wanted for a really long time. It's huge. There's like tons of cards in here. So that's kind of random that we got victim and vampire all at once. Now, I don't see you playing the victim, but you might be dealing with someone else who's playing the victim, right? It's that role. And right now, I don't see you allowing that. You don't allow yourself. A Knight of Wands, please. This is not a victim energy. He does not ascribe to that in any way, shape, or form. That's why I'm saying he just like comes in, deals with it, and boom, bounces. Because he knows, right? Because some of you might be dealing with some vampiric kind of energies. You know, when you're aware that there's a vampire around, I like that word, the vampire, right? Just kind of sucks, drains the life out of you, sucks the life out of you. It's truly energetic depletion at its finest. See, I don't see you playing this game. This is the Five of Wands game. It's not. Never again. That's what I'm feeling. Never again. Not with the Star, not with the Wheel of Fortune. These are two powerful cards. You know, you don't just walk away from these when you know that they are in front of you. Like, let's say use a romantic relationship as an example, right? Because the vampire victim is very narcissistic, codependent. So we'll use a romantic relationship. But once you know that you are already heading towards the possibility of a loving, healthy relationship, can you ever go back? The answer is no. Unless you purposefully want to tie yourself up, you know, unless you want to play like an emotional S&M game. But once you have the consciousness, once you have the awareness, then it becomes a matter of choice. And I just simply don't see any of you choosing that path. Mercury, okay? And Saturn, which I think they're actually in aspect right now as well. I think they're opposed from one another. There are many things maybe you would like to say. Maybe there's a victim mentality in your sphere right now, someone who's a little bit loose with their words. You know, maybe they are saying a lot of things, right? Five of Rods, like there doesn't seem to be a lot of control. Like I was saying, a lot of projection, just blah. So, you know, if you have that, I'm not saying all of you have it, but maybe some of you do, you know, this is where actually the Saturnian energy has to come in. Like this is boundaries. This is limits, caution, right? The maturity that brings, right? Caution regarding, limits imposed. That's what this card is saying. It's important for you to set those limits, to set those boundaries, because if you don't set the boundaries toward, you know, the darkness and you just kind of get sucked there, it takes this light and this Star Wheel of Fortune connection, it takes it further away from you. And you're going to need your energy for this, you know? You're going to need your light. So you are going to have to set limits, guys. You are going to have to set those boundaries. You're going to have to cut people off. You're going to have to, you know, say no and enough is enough and please don't and leave me alone. And you're going to have to maybe block some people. Now, we've gone through a lot of that the past couple of years, right? And I've talked about it since 2018. In 2018, I talked a lot about the separation between the high vibes and the low vibes. And I just had a conversation with someone about this morning. It's exactly what this is. It's kind of the separation, you know, and there might still be remnants of things that need to be taken care of. Love begins, and then we also have a card of intuition coming out here. Now, I think your intuition is really strong. You know, I really do. Love begins. And I love the word love with the star, because I do think that the star and also the sun, the actual stars and the actual sun, as well as the cards, they do represent sources of high-level consciousness and therefore love. And that the point of this whole experience, the point of these cards, the point of this story is to get you to consciously choose the path of love and peace, simplicity and joy. And a lot of this comes from self-love to begin with. Now, there might be a union, okay, because of the Venus North Node situation we've got going on, plus Mars in shadow. So there might be something going on romantically or in any other kind of partnership capacity. And love might not be, you know, a love. It could also be a love of a creation or a love of a creative project, you know, a flow of some kind, an inspiration. And maybe you can turn, as cheesy as I can say it, you know, turn lemons into lemonade, where this particular experience turns around and becomes a muse or a source of inspiration for, you know, a book that you're writing or a song that you're writing or something. You know, you can take the darkness and, you know, alchemize it, essentially is what's happening, alchemize it and into the light. And that's really what this card is really all about. Ooh, another card of fortune. Look at that. Wheel of Fortune and Fortune. So truly blessed. Truly, truly blessed. If you're looking at this particular event in your life or this thing in your life, also 9 of Coins as well, right? That's a huge card of abundance and fortune. So if you're looking at your circumstances and feeling depleted, that's a choice. You have to be really, really conscious of your choice. Remember, 2 of Rods is all about decisions. The decision of how you see something, decision of how you choose to interact with something or someone, you know, so this is a choice. I think many of you are going to be able to just turn around very quickly and just keep going toward that starlight. Meditate and contemplate. Oh, I love that with the intuition card because it is very otherworldly. You know, there's faith involved with the star and the Wheel of Fortune because you can't see it turning. You know, there's no actual Wheel of Fortune that says you are here. You know, that does not exist. So it is faith. Unfortunately, in our world and in our culture, very few people have learned how to cultivate, understand, and listen to their intuition. And I think the past couple of years have been some pretty harsh lessons in that. And now it's your opportunity to actually really, truly use it. And then we have, am I apologizing for my truth? Okay, I really hope not, especially not if it's a vampire or a victim type of person. Somehow when we get these 2 cards coming out, it does, you know, really indicate a duality of some kind. So it's more likely that you are sitting on one end of the spectrum or the other. The person who needs to eliminate the draining forces of your life, right? Or the person that needs to stop allowing someone to play victim in your life. So you're probably one or the other. Kind of the same thing. They're essentially 2 ends of the same coin, really. But when your intuition is speaking, you know, see, Saturn is a real truth energy. There are no lies that can be brought about through Saturn. Mercury, yes, Mercury can be very trickstery, very playful. You know, was Mercury or Hermes, you know, the actual in the mythology, the little baby, was already lying at like 2 days old. He was already playing tricks and pranks on people, you know. But Saturn, no. And I think many of you are leaning more towards Saturn because I think this is more where you're headed over here in this particular direction. And apologizing for your truth is not something that Saturn entertains in any way, shape, or form. He's never going to apologize for how he's experienced something, never going to apologize for what he feels is right. He's never going to apologize for what he knows to be good and moral and of high value, period. So hopefully none of you are apologizing for, you know, your truth. Ebb and flow. Well, we definitely know a lot about that nowadays, you know. Definitely know a lot about the ebb, especially. So there probably is going to be some release of something, and you may start feeling a little bit of a flow as well. You may just simply say, okay, this is just an ebb. Once I take care of it, then a flow will come, because they always have to balance each other out, and they're always oscillating, you know? Sometimes we may feel like a ebb just gets tighter and tighter and tighter, you know, but if that's the case, well, then the flow portion after it has to get, you know, looser and looser and looser. So I think this is an acknowledgement of the cycle, and cycle is very important with the Wheel of Fortune. and caring connection. Okay, so we have love begins, we have a caring connection. Maybe some of you are, you know, involved in getting into a deepening of a current marriage or relationship, or a new one. Love begins, whether that's with another person or with an aspect of yourself as well, romantic or family or any other kind of situation. Unfortunately, sometimes, hopefully this is not the case, but some of you might be falling in love, or you have something really good going for yourself, and maybe there is an aspect of jealousy, and there's a projection of that jealousy, and there's a projection of someone else's insecurities, victim vampire, right? Very possible, especially when Saturn is involved. A lot of times people get very jealous of the Saturnian energy because of the ambition associated with it, and the, you know, the aspect or the element of strength that truly comes from within. I always say Saturn is an incredibly courageous planet, and he brings out the courageousness in us, whether we want it or not. It's kind of what he does, because he will always, always, always keep things on that straight and narrow, and there is no wiggle room at all, right? That's his rigidity. But because of that, usually a great deal of success is involved. And when that's the case, other people can get, you know, antagonistic, you know. Oh, and then we have Earth element, stability. I do sense you coming into a deepening of stability. Financially, yes. 9 of Coins, Wheel of Fortune, yes. Romantically, yes. Professionally, yes. Like, you guys seem to have a really, really firm footing, which is good and relevant, especially in light of a 5 of Wands. Now, I love Earth because it's productive. Meaning you guys are probably going to have a really productive week. You're probably going to be, you know, working, getting things done, not getting involved in silly little things. You know, you're just not going to have it. It's just not going to happen. I think you're going to feel like things are on track. And because you're going to have that opportunity to really see how much you've grown, right? You're going to be able to see how much you've grown, then you actually can propel yourself sort of onto a new trajectory toward the star and toward the Wheel of Fortune. Okay? Really incredible reading, guys. I'm so proud of you. This is what all the hard work has been. This is the payout, you know, and we're kind of at that moment where we get to live into our newness. We get to live into our new transformed self. All right? Thank you so much. I love you guys more than anything. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Okay, pile number 2, you guys selected the sort of teal color. The thing I love about this color is it's somewhat between that heart and throat chakra, kind of a blue-green sort of color, you know, really activating both, in my opinion, for whatever that's worth. It kind of activates both. So there's a heart space and a creative space coming out. Okay, 8 of Coins, 3 of Cups, 4 of Swords, the Last Judgment, 4 of Coins, and King of... Wow, a lot of coins coming out. Yeah, we've got 3 of 6. Which tells me it's going to be a very productive week. Really productive. I think you guys have, you know, a desire to get things done. You know, no matter how mundane, no matter how... For some reason, I feel like there's been stuff that's been sitting on the back burner for a while that you're going to dust off now, and you're going to actually do something about it or do something with it. And you're going to feel, you know, like, oh, thank God I'm finally taking care of this. I'm finally doing this. And, you know, it will be nice. It will be a really nice place for you to be. We have this 3 of Cups, which I love because there is a quality of, first of all, being with people that you love, friends, you know, sisters, specifically the more feminine in your life. Although it doesn't have to be, it can be your buddies too, you know. And there's always, in my mind, an expression of gratitude with the Three of Cups as well, because it does signify abundance and celebration, you know, really celebrating the harvest, so to speak. And because you're working hard, you may feel that tendency to want to unwind as well. The one thing I would caution against with that Three of Cups, though, is consumption, whether it is food or any kind of alcohol, specifically alcohol or even caffeine, sugar, all those kinds of things. Sometimes when this card comes out, we can overdo it a little bit too much without compensating with like exercise or healthy activities. So just be cognizant of that, because with the Four of Swords, I do see a clarity of mind. You seem to be in a really incredible receptive state. Remember what I was saying? There's a creative component coming out here, but it's matched with the, you know, the material, with the coins. So this week really is about, you know, getting things out of the metaphysical idea, concept realm and into the physical world, so you can actually enjoy the things that you think about, right? If you're, you know, wanting to get a certain client project done, you know, you get to enjoy that and progress in that way. Or if you want to clean out your kitchen, you know, you get to actually enjoy the fruits of having a clean kitchen. You know, I don't know, whatever silly thing, whatever it is. But it's about clearing out the mind, because I feel like something has been occupying your mind for a while. And now is the time, now is the week to like sit down and just freaking do the work, because it's going to flow really easy. And I think this has a lot to do with Venus conjunct the North Node. There's going to be incredible insights, incredible creativity, you know, sort of a new way. What's the word I'm looking for? Just like a new way of like articulating it, or a new way of completing it. And the Last Judgment as well, also certainly two cards here of clarity of mind. Like, you're going to find the way, you're going to see the path, it's going to show up for you somehow. The action with the Eight of Coins is not really that complicated. You have the skills, you have the knowledge, you have the, you know, all the tools to do it. It's just a matter of just doing it. So there's nothing hard about it. It's more self-motivation more than anything else. And sometimes the King of Coins can be, you know, a little slow, but he also has this, and I kind of like how this star is sort of in the middle of his head. Kind of, it's not necessarily technically in the exact place of that pineal gland, but we can kind of call it that. There is sort of a intuitive way that the King of Coins goes about doing his things. And sometimes from the outside looking in, a King of Coins can be a really, really slow person. But he also knows, like, when the time is right, it's right. And boom, it's right. And it gets done really fast. So just because it's not on everyone else's time frame doesn't mean it's not the right time frame for you. Hopefully you're not limiting yourself in the ways of time this week, because if you do that, you're just going to set yourself up for anxiety and stress, and it's just totally not even worth it. You're really stable. You're really good. I think if you continue to cling to the ideas that you want to bring to life, you know, slow action. And if you run into any kind of obstacle, then just, you know, go about it a different way, you know, or wait a little while longer. You know, you don't have to make this harder than it has to be. All right, let's see what comes out here. Okay, we have Don Juan. Interesting. There's seductive qualities coming out there for sure. And then we have Dilettante. I like this. Delights in the arts without having to be a professional. Alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. With Venus at play, yeah, there can be some, you know, egoic driven things that come out, like, oh, I want this because I want to be able to buy this, because if I get to buy this, then people are going to think of me in a certain way, right? There's not a lot of space for that right now. And I think you're very aware of it, which means you're going to only be doing things that have a deeper meaning. It's not about the money. It's not about the prestige. It's not about what anyone thinks of you. It's because this is the right path for you, and that's it. interesting, this Don Juan energy. He kind of is sort of creeping in and kind of throwing a wrench in the spokes, which means you guys might have kind of a nice sexual energy about you. Again, that can be used for sex, right? If you're married or in a relationship, you absolutely can enjoy that and have fun with that, right? But if not, it can be converted in creative ways. And I like that with the Eight of Coins, because it's like, okay, well, maybe I can't express myself in a sexual way, but I absolutely can express myself in a different way. And the products of your effort will have a seductive quality, is what I'm hearing, right? So that thing that you make, that chapter that you write, or whatever it is, will draw not only you in, but other people in as well. I'm sensing magnetism with that Don Juan. Creative magnetism. Could be sexual, right? The kind of universal creative force is sexual, but it can be channeled in other areas. Enjoy that. That is absolutely a blessing and can bring about lots of really great effects. Okay. Ooh, and then we have a Scorpio card even here as well. So, Scorpio is the sexual energy too. But of course, Scorpio is a lot more than just that as well. There is kind of a resurrection aspect, a death and rebirth. And you do seem to be, and that's the thing, there does seem to be a life force being breathed into you. Okay, I can work now. Okay, I can focus. Okay, my mind is working clearly again. My ideas are flowing, and it seems to have, you seem to have a wave behind you, really pushing you forward in an effortless way. This sort of scorpionic rise from the ashes, this scorpionic depths, so to speak, having a place in the physical world, giving you an added oomph, if you will. And the fourth house. Okay, well, we have the Four of Coins, Four of Swords, the fourth house, which of course is a house of home and family, which means there might be a lot of work to do in the home environment, or there might be, you might be still working from home, that kind of stuff. But there's also an element of security. You are secure. Emotionally, you have a support system. Emotionally, you have people you can talk to, And it's important to utilize that, I think. Fourth house also has a connection with the past, our karmic line, our ancestral karma, specifically through our maternal line. And because we have the women coming through here, I think you guys are in a powerful state of breaking or transforming, Scorpio, Don Juan, sexual creative energy, transforming maternal karma into something better. Better karma. Paying the karmic debts of your ancestors for the sake of the future as well. But see, again, let's go back. None of this is that hard for you, I don't think. I really don't. For some reason, there's an effortlessness of all of this, because maybe you've already done the lessons, you've already paid the dues, and so now it is about coming up out of the ashes and just continuing on in a new kind of way. Nothing complicated. I really don't see that. Foundation and achievements. Yeah, another 4 card. A lot of that 4, which makes sense being 2020, we are in a 4 year, right? 2 + 2. So, and I told you at the beginning of the year that that's what this whole year was going to be about. Stability, foundations, getting your feet firmly planted, building that foundation. And, foundations are not pretty. Like if you think about building a house, it is not a pretty thing to walk up to your property and to see this big, ugly hole in the ground with a bunch of cement and, bars and wires and all sorts of stuff. Like, it's not pretty, and it does not look anything like a house. But that's exactly what's needed, and I think you absolutely have that. You have a support system. So if you're thinking of starting a new business or starting to launch something new, like, you guys are good. You're really, really, really good. And I wouldn't think about trying to move or change or, I don't want you to see anyone pull the rug out from underneath themselves, like, let's just enjoy this stability for a minute. Enjoy the fruits of all your hard work on the energetic realm. Enjoy the friends and the people that you have that are in your life, because they will be, you know, the source of your success. We have suffering in silence. You know, fourth house and Scorpio energy is absolutely inside, right? It's definitely internal in a lot of ways. And I think this is the breaking of the karma. For some reason, I'm looking at this card and I'm seeing the, you know, the young woman, the adult woman, and the crone is kind of what I'm seeing with the kind of like the three goddess moons, you know? It's what I'm seeing. I don't know why this card is standing out much more than any of the other cards. It's almost as though you have, you know, the feminine guides, feminine ancestors looking on into your life in an incredibly supportive way. To me, I'm feeling cheerleaders. Feeling cheerleaders. They see what you've done. And they knew how necessary it was. They know how necessary it was. For some reason, I'm feeling like you guys are feeling free. And it's a freedom that I don't think your ancestors had or felt. And I'm sensing a lot of happiness and joy around you right now. And we have journey. Oh my gosh, how beautiful is that journey? Your journey, as well as the completion of others' journeys as well. There is no destination here with this. You can have all the goals that you want, but it's never about that. It's never really about the achievement. It's about the ever unfolding. I always call life as the infinite blossoming rose, is what I always say. Just always, you know, blossoming from the inside out. You know, that force comes from the inside. And that's what Scorpio is really all about as well. Like you guys are taking, and I'm just going to put this in a physical, you know, kind of way, because I'm Don Juan, dilettante. Like, man, you guys are really attractive right now, whether you realize it or not. Like, just your vibes is so sexy. There's a purity that not a lot of people have. It's the energy, it's the vibes that only people who have done the work can have. So good on you. Communication. Okay, remember what I said? This is like heart and throat chakra, green and blue. So we definitely have communication. And there might be someone that you do need to communicate with. Although I do see you being very much in your own world. You know, I do see you, you know, really in your own headspace, doing your own thing, pushing things forward, doing most of the work yourself. Because again, you're good at it. Like I say, it's not hard work. It's just a matter of just doing it, applying yourself, getting it done. But if you need help, please ask. Suffering in silence with communication. Please don't just sit here and allow the suffering in silence to occur. If there is someone that can help you, either in the metaphysical realm or in the physical world with your friends and coworkers and family members, okay, ask them to help. I think they will be amenable to that, and they will be able to help you in a way that will actually benefit everybody involved. Remember, you have this fourth house, you have this stability, you have this support system that exists for a reason. So while no one doubts your abilities, you also don't have to bear the burden all by yourself either. It's not all your responsibility. Okay, what am I grateful for right now? That's always a good question to ask, especially with the card of abundance, you know, 3 of Cups. What are you grateful for right now? I'm sure you could come up with a great list of things. For some reason, I feel like that gratitude is actually what's fueling a lot of your progress as well. This is what's charging you, what's pushing everything forward. And if you want more progress, you want more clarity, simply express more gratitude. Power. Ooh, lightning. And I love that with the Scorpio, Don Juan. That's really beautiful. Also with that, I know it's not really a third eye thing, but with the star inside the mind of that King of Coins, like I said, there's that clarity of mind. There's something electrical happening. It's powerful. It's charged. And, you know, in the Vedic astrology, they often talk about this North Node, which is the Venus North Node conjunction that's happening right now. They often say that, you know, the North Node is kind of like a Neptune-Uranus influence if we were to adapt some concepts from Western astrology. So we have this Neptune-Uranus aspect with the North Node. So there really can be some powerful shifts, some powerful Uranian effects, both with your physicals, your sexuality, with your creative energy. You know, of course, Venus is kind of the patron of the arts. So the dilettante quality absolutely coming out here as well. So there really is an electric charge with things, whether you're a creator or not. Values are probably going to shift and change as well. Again, coming from the inside out, coming from the center of the rose. And door to spirit. Oh my gosh, how beautiful is that? And I think that on many levels, that's kind of what this judgment is it's your choice to really walk through to this flow state. Your choice to walk through to something that really sets you free. This particular card, 3 + 2, is a 5, which is all about freedom. It's ironic that the 4th house, 4 of coins, 4 of swords, 8 of coins, you know, these technically, you know, basic cards are actually the source of your freedom. So there's the home base, the support place, the place that you can always come back to for safety. But I feel like this creative stuff is actually, you know, where you find the most freedom in your life. It's kind of risky. Not really, but kind of. And then last, not third house, messages. So we have a new moon in Gemini. We have third house, which is a Gemini house. So you are going to be receiving incredible insights this week. So keep your mind as quiet as possible. If you find yourself, you know, spinning, if you find yourself, you know, with your mind all over the place and this narrative that keeps running through and through and through over and over, you know, do your best to meditate as much as possible. Do your best to, you know, just simply observe the thoughts. You don't have to try to get rid of them because that's kind of impossible, but to just observe them and to not necessarily try to attach to any of them and not let any of those thoughts, you know, overrule, you know, your intuitive guidance, okay? Because you're going to be receiving a lot of really great things that will be applied in a really great way as well. So, I mean, I think this is going to be a good week. I really do. But it's you know, important to remember that you do have a safety. You have a safe space. You have a safety nest, a place that you can come back to, and you have guidance, okay? And you have the work ethic. You have all these different. It's kind of a messy reading, actually, now that I'm like thinking about it, because there's a lot of different components working together here. And, but it's all for the sake of creation. Okay? All right, you guys, I'm going to leave you with that. I really wish you absolutely nothing but the best. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you guys very soon. Take care. Okay, pile number 3, you guys selected the violet agate. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's see what these cards have to say. Oh, wow. First 2. Ace of Cups, 10 of Cups, 4 of Cups. Oh my gosh, the Lovers, 3 of Swords, 7 of Swords. Holy cow, what is going on with you guys? Are some of you falling in love? Are some of you finding incredible, like really incredible creative energy? This Venus coming this conjunct North Node really is a powerful transit. Especially powerful because it's coinciding with this, you know, full moon, and it's square with Uranus. So there's just a lot going on. Now, I'm feeling like you really would do absolutely anything to keep something that makes you really happy in your life. For some reason, I feel like this is an outside influence. A lot of times I'll say this is my card of self-sabotage, but I think this is someone else because I'm getting the 3 swords. I think what's going on in the sky is really like if you have like any kind of a dark influence in your life, like any kind of a dark personality circulating or kind of like, you know, some kind of a connection that you have from the past or whatever, I think this kind of energy is really bringing those people out. Like they're like creeping, like coming out of the woodwork. Hopefully it's not that bad, right? Hopefully it's just someone you just got to kind of ignore or don't engage with in some way, shape, or form. But I feel like there's there's definitely a lot to be jealous about. Like if you guys are operating here, Ace of Cups, 10 of Cups, 4 of Cups, the Lovers, I mean, this is like powerful stuff. There's a lot of promise with this. So whether it is a love or a relationship or a family environment, or, you know, like if you're doing something that you really care about and you're actually succeeding, this is like the energy of the haters. People creeping, people trying to, you know, lurk, online stalking, that kind of nonsense. That's exactly what it is. This total nonsense. Potentially projecting, you know. Now, hopefully you're not self-sabotaging. Maybe some of you are. Maybe you guys have all this beautiful, like this is what you've been working to manifest probably your whole life. And now that it's here, what are you maybe thinking it's not real? Maybe some of you are thinking that it's not real. I'm telling you right now it is. It's real and it's special and it's worth enjoying. Will it last forever? I don't know. Does it have to? No, it doesn't, right? Everything in life is impermanent, including life itself. So whatever kind of annoyance, and that's exactly what it is, it's an annoyance. Again, like the night sky of the 3 of Swords, the night sky of the 7 of Swords. It's like it's creeping out of this murky, strange place. Now, I know you guys have done a ton of healing in your life, and you've worked very, very hard in that regard. I think many people who are watching tarot and astrology and, you know, spiritual stuff and channels and mediums and all you guys, right? You know what this is. You know what's up. You know what's going on here. Unfortunately, I feel like someone is trying to puncture your bubble, and that's what I think. I feel like there's a bubble. Like I can maybe even separate these cards a little bit because there's like a protective energy here, and there seems to be someone trying to come in and pierce through. Hopefully, like I'm saying, you're not on the inside trying to pierce your way out, because why would you try to get out of something like this? You know, now, again, this doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It could just be a creative flow state, you know, that you might sabotage by, you know, going and hanging out with your friends instead of, you know, engaging in that creative voice. Or, you know, you can just be feeling the flow and not do anything about it. That can definitely be a form of self-sabotage. So if you're feeling it, do it, go for it, engage with it, enjoy it, love it. And no judgment, right? It's so silly to project judgments on this kind of stuff. It is so, so, so silly. Trying to taint this in some way as, oh, it's not going to last forever and therefore I shouldn't, you know, enjoy it and I'll just push it out of my life because I've been hurt in the past. I think some of you might be learning, you know, some pretty significant lessons about trust and faith and having an open heart when maybe you have a lot of reason to have a closed heart. You know, that is something that's very hard about the world today, right? I know for thousands of years we've been in these like dark ages, right? This Kali Yuga, we're now in the Dwapara Yuga. You know, we're making our way toward the golden, but we're still in a really strange time of the humanity's cycle, right? This great year. It's still kind of a darker time. And we're still healing from the ancestral stuff of the Kali Yuga kind of consciousness from, you know, 1500 years ago, 2000 years ago. we're still trying to break out of that. And people now are being asked to do the healing for that. And that's exactly what this is. Generation upon generation of closed hearts now finding an opening, and you have an opportunity to really, really open your heart here. So are you going to let something so silly as a Seven of Swords get in the way? Samaritan. Ooh, and Saboteur. Look at that. Saboteur right on the Seven of Swords. There's definitely a saboteur. Again, hopefully you're not doing it yourself. You know, hopefully it's, you know, something that you can ignore. If you are doing it yourself, this is your opportunity to acknowledge that you might be doing it and to choose not to do it. Because from what I can see is there's no good reason for it. Okay? The Samaritan is kind of an interesting thing. This says, refines your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. Interesting. This happened in the first pile too. There was like an interesting, like, opposite going on. So this is definitely someone you would prefer to ignore, yes? A version of yourself you would prefer to ignore. But instead of ignoring it and pretending like it doesn't exist, you do have to acknowledge it. Right? You do have to acknowledge this saboteur energy exists, whether internally or externally as a different person. And because of that, because the saboteur does exist, I have to actively choose to not engage. I have to actively choose, you know, to offer compassion and love for that part of myself or for that person, but also to not get sucked in either, right? To not be, you know, overweighted in like trying to fix this. This is not a fixable thing. It's just you have to acknowledge it. You need to understand it, but you don't need to try to fix it, especially if it's a different person. Okay? All the, you know, the energy should be focused here on this good stuff and the acknowledgement of the tendency to close off in some way or to try to run away from something, but also the conscious choice not to. Because from what I can see, I don't think you have a good reason. And you might just be making things up, okay? Or someone else might just be making things up. Freedom. This is an 11th house card. Freedom, association, your circle of friends. Oh, and then a card of Aquarius, okay? There's definitely a weirdness, like an eccentricity to all of this. Also very short-lived. It might just be during the period of the full moon, you know, this kind of Uranian 11th house Aquarius energy coming in, shocking you in some way, but ultimately it will fade. Ultimately it will dissipate here. I'm feeling strong future energies, 11th house Aquarius, strong looking forward to the future, right? It even says here, do it for the future. Do this for the sake of your future. You guys are really breaking a pattern, really, really, truly. And I don't think it's easy. I don't think it's easy. I think you're having to confront people and darker parts of yourself. You're having to look at it straight in the eye and say no. I mean, what an amazing feat, right? Truly, what an amazing feat. What an amazing ability to be here in this particular moment in time. This is a consolidation of all of your hard work, and you're getting rewarded for all your hard work. So are you going to shove your reward back in the universe's face? Like, you don't want to bite the hand that feeds, you know? That's what they say, right? Ooh, passion ignited and material harvest. Yeah, exactly. You're reaping your rewards here with all of this. You know, you are truly blessed. You might be a little standoffish here and a little reluctant because maybe on some level you don't even believe that this is happening. Maybe on some level you don't believe that this is actually in your life or that this is actually where things are headed for you, you know, and that's fine if you don't believe it. But if you maybe aren't quite, you know, in a state, if you are in a little bit of a state of disbelief, you can still go with the flow and still roll with the punches. You know, you don't have to push it away or to reject the blessings. Because clearly there's something going on in your heart. Clearly there's, you know, a spark. There's an electricity, Aquarius 11th house. There's definitely an electricity. Now, I just had a thing. This Seven of Swords here, with the Aquarius energy, I'm hoping that's not a friend. The saboteur, I'm hoping it's not a friend. And hopefully if that's you, you know, you're not doing it toward a friend. Or someone who you thought was a friend or whatever, you know. You might be losing a friend. Like if they're trying to come in and puncture your happiness in any way, shape, or form, that is not a friend. But again, there's compassion with like kind of the Samaritan. I'm almost kind of like seeing the good Samaritan, right? The Samaritan. There's compassion. But you don't have to completely self-sacrifice everything for that. Because if you're self-sacrificing everything for a saboteur, then you're just the saboteur yourself. And there's no difference. So allow yourself the passion, allow yourself to that fall in love, allow yourself to enjoy the harvest that you cultivated. Supremacy. Ooh, I kind of like that. It's a card of power, right? The supreme being within inside of you. And Zeus is kind of associated with the planet of Jupiter as well, which of course is about good fortune and expansion. And it really is your supreme entity. It's the strongest, most empowered version of self. When you are in your own state, supremacy is kind of a loaded word right now, you know, with all the racial tension and everything, but I'm not going at it from that context, right? That's like toxic stuff. This is not toxic. This is self-empowerment. This is understanding your divinity. This is understanding that the abundance of the universe really can be called upon and invited into your life at any time. That you really are the creator of your good fortune. You are the creator of your material harvest and your passion. And I think on a lot of levels, you know, you're starting to understand how that really works. And don't let your past hold you back. Yeah, definitely not. I don't even think that's a possibility with the Venus coming conjunct this North Node. It's not even a little bit of a threat. I don't think. It's just the past is in the past now. There's no going back. Absolutely no going back. And that's what makes this so toxic here, is because that's exactly what it wants. You know, it doesn't want you to progress. It doesn't want you to enjoy this harvest that you have. And that's not fair to you because you deserve it, because you did the work for it. You manifested it into your life. You brought it here for you. It's a part of your lesson of what it means to be a creator. And you used it to create good things. So this has really got to go. Okay. How can I surrender even more to this moment? Oh my gosh. Yes. How can you surrender more to this incredible, beautiful time in your life? How can you enjoy it even more? Even if nothing really substantial is happening with your external circumstances, I think a lot of you are also just simply enjoying peace. Internal peace, internal unity, simplicity, lack of drama, lack of nonsense. You know, I think a lot of you have cultivated that for yourself, and you're just sort of reveling in this peaceful state. So how can I surrender even more? I'm going to read this on the back. It is essential to have clear, strong intentions of what we desire, but it's equally important for us to detach from the outcome. It's time to surrender. Let the universe have some breathing room to work. Let go of the wheel and trust so deeply that your trust turns into gratitude for what you cannot see yet, but you know is coming. Oh my gosh, here's the mantra. I surrender, I accept all that I cannot change, I release the outcome, and I joyfully trust the process. Exactly. How beautiful is that? I love that card for you guys. And then we have submerged. Ooh. Because I think there's more to that. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just the tip of the iceberg, guys. There's more to this joy. There's more to this abundance that you have, you know? You can only see just a little bit, but there's more coming, and that's why surrender is coming out. Okay? And that's why don't let your past hold you back is coming out as well. That's why saboteur, I think this reading is specifically to highlight our own self-sabotage tendencies, you know, and our own narratives that we may have that might push the energy back. You know, to be conscious of that and to consciously not engage. Oh, hostilities. Yeah, what is this? What is going on with you guys? Why push it back? There's nothing new here. It's just... There's no place for it. There is no place for it. What's the last card? So, seventh house, partners. Ooh, with the lovers and everything. So, yeah, something is definitely happening partnership-wise, creative partnership, romantic partnership, whatever. There are going to be many things that come from this, you guys. Like, right, submerged. There's a lot more beneath the surface that you cannot see. So... just lean into it. I don't know what else to say. Just lean into it. Do yourself a favor and don't fight back. Don't fight back on this one. Okay? Really incredible reading, guys. I mean, wow. Truly. I wish you guys nothing but the best. I hope you have an amazing week. I hope you are doing great. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.